our system can be exploited. That once here, illegal migrants can make a multitude of asylum, modern slavery, and spurious human rights claims.
Illegal immigrants, brace yourself for impact as Rishi Sunak orders the beginning of deportations. In a dramatic move, the Prime Minister announced that the government is set to start deportation flights to Rwanda on July 24th. This isn't just a one-time affair. Sunak has promised a steady rhythm of flights to follow.
And spurious human rights claims to frustrate their removal. And the risk remains that those individuals just disappear into the black economy.
The Prime Minister's declaration comes during a heated political climate. During an intense interview with Sky News, Sunak confirmed that preparations are already underway. Detention facilities are active, airfields are on standby, and planes are booked. The first flight date is set, marking a bold step in the government's ongoing battle against illegal immigration.
Is the reality we must deal with. And with 100 million people displaced around the world, if we do not deal with it now, the situation will just get worse and worse.
Yet, the future of this ambitious plan hangs in the balance. With the general election on the horizon, the Labour Party, led by Keir Starmer, has made it clear that they will scrap the Rwanda deportation scheme if they win. Starmer argues that the funds allocated for this controversial programme would be better spent hiring investigators to tackle the growing problem of small boats crossing the English Channel. Despite the uncertainty, Sunak remains steadfast. He acknowledges the public's frustration with high immigration levels and has made it a cornerstone of his administration to address these concerns. Since taking office, he points out that the number of visas issued has dropped by a quarter, and the number of immigrants has fallen by 10% in the last 18 months. Sunak assures the public that these numbers will continue to decline for reasons because they have already been done. However, not everyone believes it. Nigel Farage, the face of Reform UK, is vocal about his doubts. Farage argues that promises made by the Conservatives in previous elections 2010, 2015, 2017 and 2019 have not yielded significant results. He dismisses the latest promises as more of the same. In response, Sunak launched the Conservative Manifesto to reaffirm his commitment to immigration control. He proposed limiting legal immigration and suggested that members of Congress vote on the number of people allowed into the country each year. The manifesto included a promise to cut immigration by half and reduce it every year if re-elected as a Conservative.
We will halve migration as we have halved inflation and then reduce it every single year.
Speaking at the Silverstone motor racing circuit, Sunak stressed that migration rates have been very high in recent years and outlined a clear plan to reduce them. With an iron resolve, Rishi Sunak stands firm on his promise to keep Britain safe and secure. In a recent address, he stressed the importance of border security, emphasising that it should be the government, not criminal gangs, deciding who enters the country. Sunak's message is clear. If you vote Conservative on July 4th, deportation flights for illegal migrants will begin later that month. He believes this will act as a strong barrier for those considering making the dangerous journey to the UK. Sunak argues that once people realise they cannot stay if they come illegally, they will stop attempting to come.
That's why if you vote Conservative on July the 4th, the flights removing illegal migrants will depart in July, establishing the deterrent that will stop the boats. Because when people know that if they try to come here illegally, they won't get to stay, then they will stop coming.
Highlighting his commitment to national security, Sunak boldly stated that if forced to choose between Britain's security and the jurisdiction of a foreign court, including the European Court of Human Rights, the government will always prioritise national security. In sharp contrast to the Labour Party, Sunak criticised Keir Starmer for lacking a concrete plan to address illegal immigration. According to Sunak, Starmer does not view illegal immigration as a significant problem, leaving voters uncertain about Labour's stance. Sunak proudly pointed out that, with Brexit, the UK regained control of its borders. However, he acknowledged that migration levels have been too high in recent years. To address this, the government has a clear plan to reduce these numbers. Last year, changes were announced that made 300,000 people who were previously eligible to come to the UK now ineligible. Moreover, Sunak plans to introduce a migration cap, allowing Parliament to vote on how many people should be allowed to enter the country each year. His strategy is straightforward: halve migration as inflation has been halved and continue to reduce it every year. Sunak's plan is not just about numbers, it's about giving the public confidence that their government is in control of the country's borders. Sunak's speech also touched on the need for broader security measures, using Putin's invasion of Ukraine as an example. He stressed the importance of energy security, arguing that only by relying on reliable, homegrown energy sources can Britain avoid being at the mercy of dictators who can send energy bills soaring. In contrast to Labour's approach, which Sunak claims would increase costs through a state-controlled energy company that produces no energy, he promises a pragmatic energy policy prioritising security and affordability.
Simply can't tell you what he would do with people who come here illegally because he doesn't believe it's a problem. Now, with Brexit, we took control of our borders, but migration has been too high in recent years.
Sunak emphasised that this decisive action comes on top of other measures already taken to secure borders, implement a new migration cap, and adopt a more balanced approach to achieving net zero. He argued that voters have a clear choice in the upcoming election: either continue with his government's proactive measures or face uncertainty under Labour, which he claims lacks concrete plans. According to Sunak, all elections ultimately come down to a choice. He urged voters to consider who will be the Prime Minister on July 5th, him or Keir Starmer. He criticised Labour for not presenting any substantial proposals during the election campaign, accusing them of having only a blank sheet of paper. Sunak highlighted his party's introduction of a new form of national service, which has sparked conversations across the country. He acknowledged that not everyone might agree with it, but he argued that it demonstrates bold action aimed at transforming the country for the better. Addressing the challenges facing the country, Sunak asked voters to consider who has the solutions to these issues. He asserted that the Labour Party would raise taxes by $2,000 per person, a move he is determined to prevent. Sunak expressed pride in his record as Chancellor, recalling how he took radical and bold actions during the pandemic to help the country through tough times. These actions, he argued, reflect the values of his party. Values focused on protecting the country during difficult times and making responsible, long-term decisions. Sunak also addressed a recent poll showing that Labour is more trusted on tax issues. He expressed confidence that as the election date approaches, voters will see a clear choice: a Conservative party committed to cutting taxes versus a Labour party that would increase them. On the topic of asylum claims, Sunak defended his government's approach. He pointed out that last year, the UK processed more claims than at any time in the past 2 decades, resulting in the release of over 100 to 150 hotels back to local communities. He stressed the need for a block, arguing that the Rwanda flights would establish that deterrent and help solve the problem of illegal immigration.
We processed more claims than at any point in the last 2 decades, right? And that has actually helped us release over 100, maybe 150 hotels now.
Sunak noted that multiple European countries now agree on the importance of having a deterrent like safe third countries to return people. He expressed pride that the UK is leading the way on this issue and criticised Starmer for not recognising its importance. Rishi Sunak's measures reduce pressure on local services like healthcare and education. Controlled immigration levels allow for better planning and resource allocation, improving infrastructure and community services. Efficiently processing asylum claims has freed up over 100 hotels, provided more accommodation options, and supported local businesses. Enhanced border security increases safety for local communities, reducing the impact of illegal activities associated with unauthorized immigration. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed watching this video, then hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to ring the bell icon so you always stay updated about developments in Britain's immigration policy. See you at the next one.